limelight. And I need all of you to subscribe to According to Woods podcast on Facebook, YouTube, and all other platforms.
What's good, party people? This is According to Woods, and I have the honor and privilege of talking to my friend. She is a professional boxer. She is a former, what is it? Is it GBO or Red Boxing
TV.
title? GBO, Global Boxing Organization champion. She's the one and only Delilah, Adelaida, La Cobra Ruiz. What's going on, Delilah?
Hi, how are you? Everything's good, good. Hanging in there. Looking forward to my next fight, September the 25th. So I'm waiting on that.
Yes, yes. Oh my gosh. I mean, it's September 25th, so you have a date. We're kind of opening back here in Southern California, right? But it was kind of a touch and go in terms of like who is going to run fights and what have you.
Yeah, well, it looks like everybody's on the go now, but I'm kind of scared they're going to want to close everything down again because it looks like COVID's rising back again. So I hope it doesn't, but it looks like everybody's on the go. Everybody's throwing their fights out there.
Yeah, I mean, knock on wood, right? I was just at the forum in Inglewood, California, for some Bellator fights. That was amazing. But yeah, to kind of get back into some semblance of normality, because obviously the impending doom, right? If you have somebody that was negatively affected by COVID, whether getting it themselves, having a family member that's sick, somebody actually passing away of COVID, like that is horrible. So the precautions, of course, right? But like, if it didn't happen to you, there was another type of loss, right? A loss of community, the life that you knew before. All the kids that were stuck at home on a computer rather than kind of, being together. Like, and we went through it as adults. The work life shifted from basically being a, in-person deal in a lot of places. If you were afforded that, you worked at home. So there was a large sense of loss everywhere about it, and it just, with the return of some semblance of normality, yes, we might have to mask up or take a shot or whatever the case may be, or not do it at all. It's just to kind of get back to some things akin to what we were.
Exactly. It's just getting used to the norm now. But you're
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
You're right.
So I mean, obviously, as a fighter, how did that affect you? Because you were, and still are, on a trajectory. You're in an upward swing with your career, your life, and what have you. But, you know, uh, I mean, did your gym end up closing?
It did. It actually did shut down for almost a year. The city was really strict on them there in Linwood. So they shut down. So I was training in different gyms. I was back and forth, trying to get my training. I started even training in my garage. Got a few equipment there going on. It was hard to get any work in. It was just complicated and not even fighting, just trying to stay active. So whenever COVID was gone, we would be ready to go just in case anything will pop up. But it's just, it took a whole year from us boxers of not fighting. It was horrible, horrible.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, obviously, that's one semblance of loss. But obviously, as you kind of ended your 2019, going into 2020, I mean, there were things that you wanted to accomplish. I mean, did you have theoretical fights lined up and things that you wanted to do
I
for
did.
2020?
It was, yeah, I did the 2020. We actually had already. We were gonna fight for the WBC interim super flyweight title fight, and because of COVID, it didn't happen in 2020. Um, which it was kind of like, kind of, it took an impact on me because I'm like, damn, by 2021, I wanted more, so it's like, like I said, it was a pause in my career that it can't come back. But 2021, I went forward for the WCB. I did fight in March for the
Right?
WBC. So it did continue, but like I said, it was that pause, that 1 year pause, that 1 year gap that it took away from us boxers, that we didn't get the 2 3 fights in that 1 year, to continue.
Yeah. Yeah, even on the MMA sphere, like there was a lot of amateur fighters, and Southern California, and it would probably happen in boxing as well, right? Southern California is a hotbed for all combat sports, right? Muay Thai, Jiu Jitsu, boxing. It's just littered everywhere. You can get a world class gym, literally on every block, coming from here we are where we are in LA all the way to San Diego and then probably up to San Francisco, right? So, like, it's just crazy. And to have that happen, ah, man, again, a bit of loss, right? But,
It
I
was.
mean,
I seen it with the, like you said, with the amateur boxers, the tournaments. Like I could see it on the kids. Like, damn, I was supposed to go to nationals. It was a big gap. It was a big gap that we can't bring back. And I mean, time continues going. Time keeps going. It was just that 1 year, that gap that we all missed. That we could have accomplished a lot of things in that 1 year that didn't happen.
yeah, absolutely. But I mean, again, the fight in March, so
Yeah.
September, knock on wood, crossing all the fingers. I'm even crossing my toes, but my toe kind of goes funny anyway. But even still, it's the thought that counts. But you know, kind of this is the present, right? But to get to your present, we kind of have to go a little bit back, right? So, I mean, as a fighter, what inspired you to want to start fighting, or at least training?
Well, I boxed since I was 12 years old. So my dad he always had my brothers in boxing. And once my sister joined the boxing era where she started training, I started training with her. We started sparring. So after the sparring, I was like, oh, I like this. I like boxing. I was 12 years old. I started going to tournaments. I started fighting. I fell in love with the sport, and I wanted to go to the Olympics back then when I was little. But as you know, the Olympics didn't have women boxing until
Right.
2012.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just like a hopeful dream that I had when I was little. But I also wanted to become a world champion. Um, at 17, 18 years old, I got pregnant. I left the boxing era. Um, Hoping, I mean, I had 3 kids, started a family, but I always had in back of my head, like I wanted to be a champion. I'll see these girls boxing. I seen that 2012 welcome the girls into the Olympics, and I was like, damn, that could have been me. That should have been me. Um, I didn't want to be 50, 60 years old saying I was an amateur boxer. I could have been a professional boxer. Should have, could have, would have. So I was like, you know what? When my little one turns 5, I'm going back to the gym. I have to. I have to turn pro. I have to at least try to do it. I want to be a world champion, and I have it in me. I knew I had it in me. I just, I don't know. I have a heart for boxing. So that's what I did at 27 years old, almost 10 years after I left the boxing um, world, the boxing era, the whole gym. I went back, and that's where it all started again.
That's it. It all begins again, as they say. Which, again, that's incredible because you could have left it, but there was something in you. I mean, in many ways, you're almost bred for the boxing world. Your brothers box, your dad, a coach. So you're born to do this. Like Lady Gaga says, born this way.
Yeah, so like my dad boxed when he was in Mexico, but he never accomplished anything with it because my grandma never allowed him to. So
Wow.
she wouldn't even, she will find out he was at the boxing gym, she'll go and get him out of the boxing gym. Like, no, you're not boxing, you're not boxing. So he was more of a street fighter, but he always liked that boxing, the boxing, the boxing. So that's how it all started. So once he had his kids, he put them in boxing over here.
Wow. That's kind of fun, right? When you think about, again, the family trajectory, right? Your dad couldn't box because his mom said he couldn't, your grandmother said he couldn't, didn't want him to probably get hurt, No,
Mm.
as moms want to be protective of their kids, right? And then you end up doing it, with the support of your dad, right? And then leave it, and now I mean, you've got three kids, right? And
Yes,
then they're seeing you basically do it all over again. I mean, kind of awaken to the life even before them.
yes. And you know what? I see it as I I don't know. I feel like I'm not only fulfilling my dream to become a world champion, but I'm doing it for my father as well because that's what he wanted and he couldn't do it. And that's
Yeah.
what he wanted for his boys and they didn't do it, you know? So at least one of his kids out of 11 kids that he had, at least one would, go for it.
That's absolutely brilliant. Shout out to Dad. Shout out to Dad. And Kitrose over on Twitch says hello there. Hello,
Hi.
Kitrose. Yeah. No, and so, which one of your brothers started doing it first, or
It was my two oldest brothers.
okay,
They were amateur boxers. They didn't go into the professional. I mean, as soon as one of them hit 18, he was gone. He left to the Navy. The other one turned 18. He became a father. He was done too. I mean, they all did it. They all fought amateur, but never accomplished to go into the professional.
I mean, and again, I mean, it's a tough, tough road, right? And it's, kind of weird to indistinguish, like maybe a social media post or whatever. Everybody wants to be a boxer. Oh, I learned on YouTube, but the ins and outs, the weight cutting, the everything that's in it, the gym kind of drama, all of it, all of it, all of it, right? The miles that you put on your body, right? It's a lot harder than what most people just see on TV or on social media.
I don't think people see the struggle, the pain that we go through to get ready for these fights. It's hard. I'm like, it's beautiful. I mean, it's worth it at the end. You win your fight and everybody's there to congratulate you. But sheesh, those 6 to 8 weeks of pain. I mean, they become worth it at the end, but it's a lot. We go through a lot. That's why I respect all fighters. I respect all my opponents. I mean, we both go for the same thing. We both want to win. We both struggle. We both work hard. I respect all fighters. It's a lot. It's a lot of discipline, a lot of responsibility, and you need a lot of motivation to continue going. A lot
Absolutely.
too. He
Hun-
sacrificed.
100%, going to parties and you can't can maybe grab an adult beverage or grab that piece of cake, even no matter how good it looks. My goodness, you gotta have to refrain.
Exactly. It kind of becomes a lifestyle. It's like you want some cake? Like, no, thank you. Why not? You want a drink? No, thank you. Why not? It's like I just don't do it no more. Okay,
Yeah,
it becomes a lifestyle. You end up getting used to it.
yeah. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, like, how many gold belts do you have in your? None, none. Enjoy that Corona, good sir, or ma'am. Right? Like that's what you always want to. Like that's the flex, right? It's like
Yeah.
how many gold belts? None, none.
No,
Okay,
yeah.
enjoy that. Enjoy that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Paul. Paul Perez announcer says Woods with the Lady Gaga reference. You're the most knowledgeable man in SoCal combat source. Now that would probably be you, good sir. But Delilah, I'm enjoying this interview. That's more Delilah than me, but thank you again, Paul Perez. Yeah. So I mean, in those kind of tough times, right? What keeps you motivated? Because I mean, as you're trying to get to that next level in your boxing career, you still have to be a mom, you still have to work a normal job. All of these things are tugging at you, and at least in the moment when you're in the thick of it, it it's not fun at all, right? But what keeps you motivated?
It's worth it. It's not fun, but it's worth it. Many things keep me motivated to continue going. My first of all, my dad. He's putting in a lot of, not only as a father but as a coach. He's putting a lot of work into it. We both do. My children. I want them to see that I told them I was going to come into boxing and I was going to be a world champion. And I want to show them. I know it's hard. I know you guys see me struggling. Sometimes it's like I have, most of the time, all the time, I have to cook dinner for them and I can't sit down and eat with them because, I'm getting ready for a fight. I can't eat. I'm just drink my smoothie or whatsoever. I want them to know that that's going to pay off. I'm going to be a world champion. I'm going to show you guys that working hard and, you know, everything's going to pay off at the end. Um, I have a lot of supporters that within the years um, being in the boxing world, they have faith in me and they believe in me, and that motivates me even more. Knowing that people get inspired by me, it motivates me. Like, no, I gotta show them you could, and I am.
No, 100%, 100%. And speaking of inspiring, Jackie Gone, a tremendous martial artist in her own right, says it absolutely inspiring. Which again, it's rough for a male to be in this sport. It doesn't matter if you're a ring announcer like Paul Perez, an interviewer and podcaster like me, a DJ. It's tough. I can only imagine being a woman, then a mom, right? And then, but anytime that you have a girl, a female fight on any given card, right? You could, whether it be pro wrestling, MMA, jiu-jitsu, boxing, what have you, chances are there could be many fights on the card. There could be world championships, bigger names, and what have you. More often than not, especially in the last 20 years, right? 15 to 20 years. It's the female fight that people, when they go to their car or they look back on that memory, it's the female fight that they're talking about.
Exactly, yeah. And I get that a lot with my fights as well. There's like 6, 7 fights happening in that night, but it's my fight that has them standing up, screaming like, "Oh my gosh, an exciting fight!" I have people that are like, "Oh, I don't like boxing, but I'm gonna go to your fight this one time, just to support you." And it's like, "Oh my gosh, when are you fighting again? Like, we want to watch you fight again." And it's with all females. You watch a female fight, and like you said, MMA, anything is like, it seems like they put their heart into it. Like everything goes there. I feel like they want to prove themselves a little bit. I don't know, but we let everything go.
You know what? I would love to just. It might have already been done, but an all female boxing card just to do it. There have been, right?
Has been, and you know what's the problem with that, and why don't they do it often? Is because there's not that many people that support it. Weird, right?
Right.
You'll see, and it's like the arena's empty. It's empty, and it's like, why? If it's all females, we give exciting fights. Why doesn't people support female fighters as much as they support the male fighters? If we give such exciting fights, why?
Exciting. Yeah. You know what? It's weird because I grew up for the most part in Inglewood, right? And I remember when I was in high school, right? That was like middle school, high school was really the start of the WNBA, right? And at the time, before they moved over to the Staples Center, right? The Lakers, the the Kings, they played at the Forum, right? And it would be filled. Like you couldn't get a seat. There'd be people scalping tickets and what have you. And
Yeah.
then when it got to the WNBA, with arguably some of the greatest players to ever pick up a ball and shoot it, right? It'd be like not even 10% of the arenas filled. Like it's weird.
It's weird. Yeah.
I don't know.
I
Yeah, I
don't know
hope it's
what
better.
we're, I don't know.
Now, obviously, you've said you've been your life and career have kind of you've been inspiring to the people around you, your community around you, right?
Yeah.
Do you feel like maybe the community that is around you and maybe boxing fans or whatever, they might be two different communities that maybe the other hasn't tapped into the other?
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah, and the thing about it is it's just as dynamic. If you're like, oh well, I don't like boxing, like in terms of the man, I don't like boxing, but I like the flashy attire. Well, there's flashy attire in women's boxing. If you want exciting fights, there's exciting fights in women's boxing. Again, I don't think there is a boring fight in women's boxing. To be honest with you,
and wouldn't those arenas be filled with people? If you support the, I have no idea.
yeah, there needs. I don't know. But that's where I feel confident, right? In ladies such as yourself, even an era maybe before, like Layla Ali, Aaron Tohill, who we're pretty much you gals are trailblazers, right? For the next kind of iteration. Well, maybe it is hard to kind of pack in arenas and get a full-time gig just being a female
Yeah,
boxer, right? Well, maybe the generation after you doesn't have it so hard because
and
of the
I'm actually,
sacrifices.
no, yes, I'm actually hoping that these little girls get the opportunities that we're not getting now, because 10 years ago, 20 years ago, you wouldn't have ever seen a female boxer in the PVC fight, Showtime fight, and I mean it's getting better. The support is getting better. We're getting out there a little bit more than before, a lot more than before. You just wouldn't, and I think social media is actually helping a bit. So hopefully the next generation will have it better than we do now, and that's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, I think it's because of the tireless efforts that you and so many other women that are competing in the sport are making right now that, you know, again, it's almost like a shot at the future. But also, this is your glory. Yeah, of course, the future, and it's still unwritten. But I mean, you're right now. You're in it. You're passionate about your sport more so. I mean, again, you might have had. You can make an argument you might have an easier life, right? Just dealing with the kids and your work life and family life and what have you if you hadn't had boxing. But again, you went through a decade of that. And like that's not the life for you. You have things that you want to accomplish. You've already won a championship in your career thus far. You want a world recognized title. So it's not like yes, we're looking to the future, but your time is now.
Yes, yes, I agree. I agree. And like you said, yes, my life could be a lot more easier without the boxing. But I, like you said, I went 10 years without it, and I needed that. I needed that. So, yes, I agree.
Yeah,
Oh, right. I mean, I hope this effort, these sacrifices, helps the next.
absolutely. Now, going back to your dad. Your dad's your coach, right? I mean, there first off, the fact that that was kind of his dream for himself to want to do it, and then he kind of ushered your older brothers to do it and what have you, and they kind of went away into their own understanding of what life is and what have you, but you took it up. Do, when did you see a maybe a different dynamic of your relationship with your dad? Was it when you started training? Was it a particular fight, or
Uh,
has it kind of been the same?
no, what do you mean?
Like, was there a dynamic? Did you see your dad kind of your relationship kind of grow, or did he stop being dad and then start
Uh,
being coach? Or
Really? I don't know. I'm not saying I'm the favorite one, but my brothers will tell you I am the favorite one. My dad has 11 kids. We're six
yeah,
girls, 5 kids. But I've always been daddy's girl. Always.
wow,
But, even before I even boxed, my dad's that type that, hey, mija, like, what do I want to paint the house. What color do you want it? Pink. He wanted to paint the whole house pink just because I wanted it pink. So I was daddy's girl since I was born. Like I don't know. I don't know. I just feel like there was this connection, this bond since I was born. I've always had this amazing, beautiful connection with my dad, and I love him. Like I feel like I was reborn. Like I'm him. Like so, when I first started boxing, he wasn't my coach. he didn't coach me. I mean, he taught me at the house here and there, but he wasn't my coach. We just couldn't do the coach and daughter. I just, we would clash so much, so much. We just couldn't do it. So somebody else was coaching me. And so just recently, he stepped up to be my main coach 2 years ago. So, I mean, it's hard because once again, I'm daddy girl, and it's so easy to be like, "Hey, dad, I'm tired. My body hurts already. It's enough for today." And he'll be like, "Okay, mija." But then when I'm in camp, it's like he has to kind of toughen up and be like, "No, I don't care. Like you got to keep going. You got to keep going." So he has this switch button where he's dad and then he's my dad. No, he's my dad and then he's my coach. Like it's a switch button. Like, and I have to do that little switch button where I can't see him as a dad when he's my coach. He's my coach, and I have to respect that. It's just it's different, but our bond has never changed since I could.
I think
I'm
that's a Aw, but I think that's a bit of a poetic justice, right? The fact that your relationship. I mean, whatever you want to attribute it to, right? Just, I mean, you guys were just maybe a little bit closer. Maybe he saw a little bit of himself more in you than your other siblings, and that's not a knock to your other siblings in the slightest bit. It's just there's just like that one, and even like the parenting, right? Like there's one that like your mom will probably know something about your other siblings that your dad can't reach, and
Mhm.
but I think it's poetic justice, your relationship even before, and you're the one that essentially wants his dream of being a world champion.
Yes, yeah. I don't know. I like I said, there's always been that special bond. I have no idea. I don't know.
Hey, yeah, I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So, I mean, you have it, and there's so many people that don't, not have close relationship with their fathers or whatever. Hell, look at what's going on with Britney Spears and her father. Look at that,
Like no, yeah, it's crazy,
right?
crazy.
Hashtag free Britney, but I'm just saying, it could be way worse. It could be way more acrimonious, but it isn't, and it's just like, and again, and it's funny, like you're like, there might not be a dynamic change, but there was, right? Because you guys have found this switch, right? The
This,
father daughter, and then the coach pupil, switch that probably may not have been there before, or may not have been as pronounced, but here it is, and that could also be that secret sauce that you guys need to get that world championship.
yes, exactly. And we're both working hard for it because, like I said, that's his dream. That's my dream. So when we get it, is gonna be we're both gonna be fulfilling our dreams.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. You let me know. I'm going to be there because I want to be in that room when that. Because we just had AJ McKee, right? AJ McKee, whose dad was a mixed martial artist, and basically cultivated and shaped his son's kind of career, to undefeated record and what have you. And AJ last night ended up becoming the not only a Grand Prix, that's like an 8-person tournament, and then a title defense, right? So it was like two things coming together, plus $1 million on top of it. And AJ's dad was right by his side as his coach. So I would love to see that. I would love to be there in that room, in that arena. Hopefully it's sold out. Damn right, we're going to make that a sellout. You let me know. I will post about it like to the umpteenth degree, because I want to be there to when you guys experience that moment, because again, after seeing it, it's amazing. And that's the storybook, and not to say it's the end or what have you, but that's the story. That's what you put in the story.
Hmm. Yeah, I'll let you know.
Yeah, please do, please do. Now, obviously, a mother of three, right? So, are any of your kids either training or having an interest in boxing since grandpa and mom or boxing?
Oh no, I mean the youngest. I mean, I think the youngest has it in him. He did it
Okay.
for 3 years. He did it for. He was 5 to 8, and he's not scared. He'll get in the ring and spar and do his thing. He's very smart. He has a boxing. I like this kid is his IQ in boxing is amazing. Like it's just he's a south, like he could do both ways, southpaw and orthodox. Um, I mean, he's just smart. Like, and he has it in him. He has these huge, like, he has a thick fist, and he's only 11 now. But I know he has it in him. He just doesn't like to train. And that's what I tell him. I'm like, I won't ever push a kid to train. If you don't want to do it, that's fine. I grew up in boxing, seeing dads and coaches pushing kids to do something they did not want. And I always said it. When I have a kid, I'm not gonna push them to do something they don't want to. If they want to, by all means, I'll be the happiest mom ever. I'll support them 100%. But if they don't want to do it, that's fine. I'm okay with that, and that's what I tell my kids. I'm like, I'm here. I'll teach you guys how to box. So here and there, they'll ask me, can you do this? Can we do that? So they know how to box. They know their punches. They just don't like to train. And when I was little, I was the same way. I didn't start till I was 12. I hated training. I hated running. I was the most laziest person to run. I wouldn't run. My dad used to tell me that his grandma used to run faster than me. I would just jog. Literally, all my amateur career, I was just one lazy kid. I just didn't like to run. I liked the fighting, I liked the sparring, but I never liked the training. And it all changed once I grew a little bit older and realized, like, you know what? You don't want to get your butt kicked. You need
Yeah.
to, and you need to run. So that's, I mean, I'm not trying to get, I'm not trying to lose, so I gotta run.
That's so funny to me that you, by your own self-admission, are were the lazy one because I mean, do you have a safety on those? Because I think you're treating everyone to the gun show. Look at that! Look at
Come on,
that!
this one.
Jeez, it's so hard to believe. My goodness, no.
Yeah, my dad would tell you, like, yeah, Delilah used to be so lazy. Like, she would not, like, it was just, like, I mean, my amateur record was 36-3, And it's like, I used to fight at 125, 128. I'm fighting at 115 now as a professional boxer. So you could,
What?
from when I was an amateur and a lazy kid that would not discipline herself how to eat and train to being a professional boxer.
Wow, and that's a bit of a paradox too, because as fighters mature in their careers, right? If there's going to be a weight class change, very rarely is it going down because obviously, humans, our bodies, they change as we age and what have you. One would even argue we even shrink a little bit in terms of stature, right? But
Exactly. Yes.
you, again, few people usually you go up in weight as your career progresses, right? Not you go down, especially what you were fighting at 125, right? To 115.
125, amateur, 125. My first fight, coming back 10 years of my boxing layoff, I was at 130, 130, 132. I did one amateur boxing fight before I turned professional. So my first professional fight, I fought at 126. Now I'm 115, 114.
Oh my goodness, yeah, you
It's,
win. You
it's
win
just,
at life. Or maybe I'm not disciplined because when you're saying 130, I think I might have gained 130 pounds doing I'm the COVID
oh,
weight champion of the world because I think I might have tacked that on because man, I can't say no to cookies.
and like I told you, like I said earlier, it's a lifestyle. You get used to it. You get you. I don't know. I guess I don't know. I mean, you see the box of donuts. I want some, but I mean, uh,
Tell him, Delilah. Tell him how you really feel, though. No, um, so you were mentioning right, like your kids, right? So as kids, we did it as kids, right? We're like, hey, my mom, my dad could kick your dad's butt. We would do that, right? But your kids, their mom probably, I mean, unless there's another world champion in the schoolyard, right? Parent, like you can do that.
and it's funny because my youngest will do that at school. Like, oh yeah, my mom's a professional boxer. Let me show you. Let me Google her, and he'll Google it and have all his little friends around the computer googling my name, and he's like, "Yep, that's my mom right there." Mm-hmm. He'll even show the teacher and everything. Yeah, like that's
Oh,
my mom's the Cobra.
wow.
My mom.
Hey, so I mean, so for the record, right? So your youngest son is clout chasing because of mom, right?
Yes.
Just to be fair, just to
Yes.
be fair. See, us parents, we're cool. We're
Yeah.
cool. No, oh my goodness. This is you probably have never been asked this question at all. But has there been a a a point where your kids has used your notoriety for their best interest, like maybe getting out of a test or school or something. Let's they usually put you on blast. Let's put the kids on blast. So, can you think of an experience where they have used my mom is the Cobra to their advantage?
Actually, no. No, I don't think so. No, not that I know of. Not that I know of.
Ah,
No.
so they're greater than we imagined because I mean, if somebody got an A in a test of a subject that they're failing, hey, maybe that was because the Cobra was my mom, and you might not know.
No, you know what? No. I do think one of the teacher. No, 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 no.
Okay, I like it. I went full on tinfoil hat. I
No,
was like,
one of his teachers, my youngest, he had a teacher that she would let him slide a lot, and I would see it, and I think it was because she knew who I was and how busy I would get in life, that she'll be like, "It's okay, let me email you this stuff, have him study, and then have him do the test at home, and you just send it to, like, things like that." And I'll be like, is she just doing it? I felt like she kind of knew my lifestyle, how busy I would get, and how I would try my best, to, I don't know. I think she'll give them a little slacks here and there. I'll see it. Like, it
see,
wasn't normal from other teachers. I mean, no.
see, and you didn't think there was one, and you thought of one. See,
Yeah.
see. Because that's the card that I would play, right? If in the theoretical game of Uno, but in life, right? If my hey, my dad was a street performer in San Francisco, played music. If I didn't study for that spelling test in the second grade, I slipped one of my dad's tapes to him. I'm like, hey, you like jazz?
Oh my
Even though,
God.
like, yeah. Oh man, that's the card that I'm gonna play all damn day. I mean, you're talking to a guy when who didn't want to read the rhyme of the Ancient Mariner in school when we were learning it in English class. Well, I brought Iron Maiden's version, and I got extra credit because we played Iron Maiden, literally reading the whole book. So I'm just saying, if there's an easy way, I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
Oh man. So in terms of like fights, right? Because to be the champion that you are, right? Belts, no belts, or what have you, right? You also have to be a student of the game, right? So can you think of any fights that kind of rank in your most favorite or most watched one? Or any favorite fighters that you might have?
Um, what do you mean, like from my fights?
We can
Or
do your fights, and then we can go like other fighters. However way you want to answer it.
like what favorite fighters? Let's see. I don't really have any.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you that I like boxing.
Yes.
I love boxing. I love doing the sport of boxing. I love it, but I don't really watch it.
Mm.
It's weird because I won't even go back and watch my own fights. It's just random. It's so weird. It's weird. My dad does the whole watching for me. Like, if I'm gonna fight with somebody, he'll do the whole watch. I won't even watch their fights. I don't watch them. I'm not, unless it's like a big fight and my family's gonna get together and we're all gonna get together to watch the fight. Then I'll watch some fights like that. Or I support the female fighters as well. But I don't really like to watch fights. I know it's weird. I'm just But if I have to choose, like I've always said it, I love Pacquiao because I
Okay.
like his background. I love his background and what he went through and everything, and just his style. He's just such a humble man, and still pushing it, till his age right now, still out there, motivated and wanting to continue to box. He has it
Yeah.
in him, and I respect that from him because, like I said, it's painful. It's a lot of sacrificing. It's not easy, but he's still there. So I like Pacquiao.
I like it. I like it. I totally like it. And you not watching footage and what have you. That's what I love about combat sports, right? Because there's no cookie cutter way to do this and what have you. There have been coaches that have been former fighters that never won a world champion that are world champion coaches. There are coaches that have never fought that are world champion. There are, like there's so much, right? It's a game of outliers, right? There's so many things. There's gyms you never heard of that spawn like amateur and world champions to a lesser degree, like not the Eddie Hearns and the what have you, but
Yeah.
people ranked in the Ring magazine and KO, right? And then there are facilities of like that just have a stable of fighters, like 80 world champions over the last 20 years and what have you, and that works too. There's no set way to do it. You just kind of find what works for you, and you
Exactly.
do that.
And what I'm doing is working for me.
Yes.
So that my best fighter
All
or my
right.
favorite
I
Pacquiao.
like it. I like it. Now, let's spin it once more. So, your favorite fight that you've competed in?
My favorite fight that I competed with, I would say, and I always say it, I think it was like my fourth fight, my fourth professional fight. I fought with this girl from Mexico. She was undefeated. Um, Good boxer. I mean, she was a good boxer. She was actually ranked as in the amateurs, and she made it to the team as an amateur for the Mexican Olympics. Um, she had over 80 amateur fights. We got that fight, I think, 2 weeks before the fight because I was supposed to fight with someone else, and she got hurt, so we ended up getting this fight. And like I said, I don't go back and watch anybody fight. I'm not that type of boxer that'd be like, oh, let me watch her fight before I take that fight. Like, no, I want to fight, so I'm a fighter.
Yeah.
My coach at that time was like, I don't know, are you sure? And I'm like, yes, I've been training hard for 6 weeks. Like, yes, I'm sure I want to take that fight. Like, I won't ever like cherry pick my fighters. Like, you give me the enough time to train, I'll fight with anybody. I'm sure of myself. That's how positive I am. So I took that fight 2 weeks before the fight, and like I said, she was undefeated. Once the first round started, I was like, damn, it feels like I'm fighting myself. Like this girl fights exactly like I fight. Like it was me fighting me. I was like, shoot, what's going on? So I ended up knocking her out in the fourth round. Third or fourth round. I don't. But that fight, you had everyone standing up, yelling, excited, Cobra. I just remember the whole like everybody at the hotel like just screaming, and they were just amazed of that fight, and I was amazed myself because, like I said, she was like I was fighting myself, and I cut her, and I was like, oh shoot, I cut her. This is my time. This is my time. I gotta go get her because if I don't get her now, I'm gonna have to go another round with her. It was nice. Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. And what happens because us as the viewing audience, right? Like we see it, right? And it's almost like blood in the water, right? Once to a shark, right? And some fighters will describe it as like there was a tunnel vision. There's a moment, maybe a third eye that comes out, and there's a moment of clarity that wouldn't appear at any other time. Does that happen? Do you revert back to your training and the combos that you learned in this particular situation? Like at that moment, like what was going through your mind?
I gotta knock her out. I'm just kidding. Gotta get her. I need to stop her. No, I mean, Yeah, I just wanted to stop her. I wasn't really. I just wanted the fight to end, like I said, because I felt like I was fighting myself. Like I didn't know how to get her because I was like, shoot, how do I get myself? You know, like what is it that works for me to push me back? It was just it's. I just felt like damn, like everything was going so fast at that time. All I had, all I was thinking was like, I need to stop this girl. I need to stop this girl. But how? How would I stop me? You know? Oh,
That's almost like a Mortal Kombat mirror match, like back in the day where you get this, like if you're playing with somebody or whatever, and you pick the same character, you get that whatever, and it's, ooh man, it can be unnerving because like, what can I do? It's like,
yeah. It was like, what can I do? What would work for me? You know? It was just, I swear, it was like I was fighting myself. She had the same combinations. Like it felt like like she was being trained by the same coach. Like we had the same everything, everything. I was just like crazy. Like oh shoot, like but it was an exciting fight. It was toe to toe. Like you didn't see anybody backing up, getting some air. It was like we're both going at it. Hmm.
ah man, I please, if you've got the clip, I want to see that because again, I love combat sports. I that's something that I need to see, and I'm sad that I haven't seen it up to this point. So I'm just
Yeah.
saying. Um, so you know, we kind of we're talking about, you know, like the prominence of women's boxing and how it could be bigger, right? Well, one thing that has kind of, since the last time that we spoke, right, that has kind of come up, right? We have like the celebrity boxing and the
Oh.
Triller, the Paul brothers getting into it. Like,
Hmm.
what do you make of the whole deal?
I don't like it. I
No,
I don't like it. I don't agree on it. I mean, I don't. I mean, it's getting publicity. I mean, it's getting out there, and I think, but it's just it defeats the whole purpose of it. Like defeats the whole purpose of the sport.
yeah.
Like, it's just well, I don't know. I don't, I don't like it.
So no, and you're, especially with as many years as you've put in, as many years as your dad has loved the sport, your family have loved the sport. You know, the gym that you're at in Linwood, like that's, it's a pretty prominent gym. So with that all being said, like I totally agree, but. I almost like it because I at first was just like, oh no, I don't want that. These influencers, la la la, whatever, right? But like the Mayweather McGregor card, right? The
Hmm.
the guys on the undercard made more than they would on at the same kind of rank and whatever on any other show,
Yeah,
theoretically speaking. And we have it in MMA as well, where, you know, there's like the legend fights of like the Tito Ortiz and not so much Chuck Liddell, the third one. That was a horrible one. But we have legends fight. But when you look at the card in the undercard, right? Like those are the cards that, as a person that wants to be seen, hey, be on that card. You might cash in a payday, but and then also be in front of an audience. Like they came for the spectacle, right? They came
yeah,
from the sizzle, and then you're the substance, right? You're the steak that they want, that they never knew they wanted before they saw this.
yeah. So, like I said, it's publicity. Like I like the publicity because you like earlier you had said something about okay the boxing community and then the regular community. It actually brings both together.
Right.
So publicity, I like. I agree on it, but then like it defeats the whole purpose of the actual sport. I don't know. I mean, it has its pros and its cons.
Yeah. No,
Like,
absolutely. I just, you know what? I will like, because, you know, as as a, you know, athlete, especially in combat sports, you might have, if you're lucky, 5 to 7 years, right, before you either kind of, you know, fall out of love with it or what have you, right? So for me, I'm like, make as much money as you can. Like endorsements, sponsorships, get them all. Like, you know, like there was what is it, like the Condom Depot. There was literally in the UFC, dudes would have temporary tattoos of Condom Depot on their back because hey, It was a paycheck. Like, get that money. Like, get that
Yeah,
money, and then we'll figure out the rest.
yeah. Oh yeah, I agree. Sorry,
No
sorry.
worries.
I'm yawning.
Yeah. So, away from the sport a little bit, right? Are there movies that you dig? I mean, I know your schedule's pretty tight with the kids, with your training, with your job, whatever. But I mean, when it's time to kind of let the hair down, is there anything you like to do, like to watch, like to listen to, that either keep you motivated or like at least let you kick your feet up a bit?
Well, yeah. I mean, I love to listen to music. I mean, I listen to all types of music, but more like Spanish music. I'm more of a like a corrido type of. I'm Mexican, so I love to listen to music, clean my house, be at home with my kids. I like to watch movies, so either at the theater because now they opened it. They took that away from me, the whole COVID thing, because I was a theater person. Every time there was a new movie, we'll be at the movie theater. So I like to watch movies. I'm a horror type of movie I am person. I like horror. I don't like fiction movies. Um, I'm just like more of a family type of person. I love to hang out with my family, my parents' house. I just like it becomes a lifestyle. There's no more partying out there for me. It just is. I don't know, just family.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you were doing all this work. You should enjoy the spoils of your labor in the fact that you're providing for your family in the best way that you know how. So I think it's great.
And then like I said, I have 11 brothers and sisters. So we're a big family. We're a huge family. So I have nephews and nieces. I love to spend time with my nephews and my nieces, and I don't know. I just that's my what's it called on my getaway from boxing, being with my family. Hmm.
I like it. I like it.
And
Now,
I do have friends, but I would rather hang out, like I said, like at home with my friends and just. But we rarely have time to even do that. Sometimes I just be like, can we go out for dinner? Like I want to see you. I don't really have time for friends, but when I do, they're there.
there you go. Yeah. That's the Friends theme song literally popped in my head. Like, I'll be there for you, even if it's 6 months from now.
Mm-hmm. I actually do have friends that, and that's who you really. That's when you know who are your true friends when they're still there for you, even after they know I have such a busy schedule that regardless if I have a fight coming up and I haven't spoken to them in 6 9 months, but we reach out here and there, they're there to support me. Like they'll be the first ones. Like I'm not your number one fan, Delilah. Like Cobra. Like they support me at 100, and they know it's just I have a busy lifestyle with boxing and my kids and work. I work too, so it's just it gets hard. But
Yeah,
yeah.
shout out to them. They're the real MVPs, man. That's pretty damn cool. Favorite horror movie?
Ooh, I like the Saw movie. I watched
Mm.
every single one of them at the theater. We just recently, the last one too, that came out. I love Saw movies.
And if you don't mind me asking, it's a personal question, but what movie theater do you see these movies at?
I go to different ones. I like to explore out. So I
Okay.
don't just go to one. I like to go out. It's like I'll find one in Orange County that I haven't gone to. I'll find one in you know, let's say Carson, anywhere. Like I would just Google the ones I haven't gone to, and that's where it's just I like to experience all of them.
I dig it. I dig it. Um, are any of them AMC's?
Yeah, there's one in Norwalk actually.
To
Yes.
the to the moon, to the moon. I might be invested in the AMC stock, so I'm kind
Okay,
of
okay,
excited.
in Norwalk.
Shout out
Yeah.
to AMC. Yeah. Now, obviously, Delilah, there have been a lot of people, both professionally and personally, that have contributed to your success, right? So take as long as you need. Let's get some shout outs out of the way.
Got it. Okay, so let's see. Want to first of all, my family, my family because they're my number one supporters ever since I decided to come back into the boxing world. They've, it was super hard at the beginning. My kids were still little. Now they're teenagers, but they were still little, and my family will just support me at 100 when I needed somebody to take care of them, or if I needed a ride here, or I needed somebody there. Like they'll be right there. My parents, same thing. Number one supporters always, regardless. My mom, Casillas Boxing Gym, because they're the ones that opened the door for me once I decided to come back as well. He's like, "Come on, let's go, let's do it." So Casillas Boxing Gym, Annie, his wife, my sponsors, um, Ramiro, HDC Sports Apparel, has been there since day one as well, supported me, has let me go, there. Um, it's like what's it called? When they like give you like what's it called? Like advice. He's like my
Yeah,
advice. Well, um, Marvin Nation. He's my promoter now. So I want to thank him. I want to thank Ray with Red Boxing Promotions. Gave me the opportunity, has never made me feel like just because you're a female boxer, you're any less than these male boxers. Like, you're a queen. He's literally made me feel like a queen, compared to these male boxers. And I thank him for that. Like I said, my sponsors, uh, South Central Boxing. I forget all the time. Sorry, guys. Um, Keg, Keg Sluggers Bar is a bar out in Westminster. So if you guys are ever in Westminster, check out his bar. Um, I forget. I'm a
if they,
person.
if they follow you on social media, they'll see sponsored posts and all that jazz.
Yeah,
So
they see, yeah, because I always put them out there.
yeah, absolutely. And Stephen Tatum says she is
Oh,
multitasking, exploring the world through movies, and yes, Adam to the moon.
it's
But
Adam.
you
Ever Everlast has been there for me as well since day one. So Ernie, big shout out. I got so much love for him. Anytime I need anything, that man is. He knows I'm a very shy person. I'm very very shy to ask. I wouldn't even, I would need something and I wouldn't even say nothing. And he's scolding me for that already. But shout out to Everlast and Ernie for being an amazing man, a father, everything. He's growing as well in the boxing industry. So congratulations to him.
yeah, no, 100%. And my goodness, Everlast. I mean, that is, I mean, pretty much outfitted the gloves of, I mean, everybody for pretty much a century, if that. You know, that is the benchmark in terms of pro boxing gear, man. I mean, Ali, Tyson, all of them are fitted with Everlast. That's pretty cool to kind of have your name in that same conversation.
Yes, the best.
Hell yes. And Jackie Gomez says, congratulations on all your accomplishments, Delilah. Keep praying the path. This is your time. Best wishes in your future endeavors.
Thank you, Jackie. I appreciate that.
Now, for those who haven't already done so, to become a part of the Cobra Pit, the fans of La Cobra, the Ruiz, where can they find you on social media?
On social media, my Instagram, I'm more active on my Instagram. So La Cobra underscore Ruiz, Ruiz. They can find me on Facebook as well. I have a fan page. I'm not really too active on it. I'm trying. I'm really trying, but I'm so busy. I could only handle one. It's under Adelaida. That's my government name. Adelaida. Adelaida Ruiz. I have a Twitter as well, but not active. I don't even have the app on my phone. I don't know how these people could keep up with all these social medias. I can't. I am so sorry. I have my YouTube channel as well, but I don't do anything on it either. I just get so busy. Like, I'm honestly even La Cobra Reese as well, but
To
Instagram, Instagram is the one.
10 points. And I mean, to be fair, let's. I had my YouTube channel for almost 2 years until I did that interview with you at Casillas Boxing before the Red Boxing event. So, and then now I've in the last year maybe 450 podcasts since. So I've made use of it now, but like there was a whole 2 year gap before that interview with you where I didn't touch it at all. So
Okay, cool.
yeah. So I'm just saying, like, it happens. When it'll happen for you.
I
So
would,
I'm just saying.
mhm.
Well, again, thank you so much for joining us. Go ahead and follow her. And thank you guys for joining us here at According to Woods. And if you haven't already done so, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe to the According to Woods podcast on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. I mean, Delilah, you're subscribed to the podcast, aren't you?
I think I did. I am. Am I?
Yeah, absolutely. And thumbs up too. And if she didn't, she's probably going to do it after. So
Yeah,
be
sure.
like Cobra and go ahead and subscribe to the podcast. But if you don't believe me, if you don't believe Delilah, and I don't know why you wouldn't, well, here's Pro Wrestler Zeta Zhang to convince you.
Hey, this is Zeta Zhang. Make sure